everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus with Threshold of Hineni, and sorry I haven't posted the last couple days. I had pre-recorded some, but I hadn't gotten them processed, and the 5th, I was just really, really depressed. It was the day before the anniversary of when Bill and I met. I was not expecting to be depressed. I had been doing so much better, but I was depressed, and so I realized, wow, I don't dare go into tomorrow, which is the anniversary of when we met, which is yesterday now, the 6th, without getting some good prayer support. So I asked friends on Facebook to be praying for me, and quite a few did, and so I did fine yesterday. Yesterday was the 6th. It was the anniversary of the day that we met, and so I wanted to use this. I meant to record this yesterday, but just didn't have time. I wanted to use this opportunity to address a question that I've gotten quite a bit that I think is a valid question. And some people might hear the question and think, oh, that's a cruel thing to ask. But I don't think it is. I think that it's a very, very valid question. And that is, was meeting Bill and having 5 years with him worth all the pain and suffering that I'm going through now? Because I am really, really going through a lot of pain and suffering having lost him. And I know that there's that poem, I think it's by Tennyson, but I could be wrong, where he says something like, better to have loved and lost than fearing loss, never to have loved at all, or something like that. And I think the answer's got to be different for everybody. But for me, yes. I mean, I really have given it careful consideration. And there are times that I have wondered that myself. Is all this pain, does just 5 years warrant that? Would it have been better if I had never met him? And the answer is no, it wouldn't have been better. My life is so much better because of having met Bill, and because of having been married to him and having him in my life. He showed me what real love is, and being able to not just be loved like that, but also to be able to love somebody fully is huge. And that's an experience that changes you. And I might talk about this a little bit more at a different time, but even though I'm super depressed and everything, I don't feel like killing myself. I don't feel like cutting myself. And I have done that before, cut myself, and I have wanted to kill myself before. And I've only felt suicidal one time. That was mainly because of something that somebody said to me. But not really because of Bill. I've wanted to die. I've wanted to go be with him, but I have not been at all tempted to kill myself. And I think that the difference in that, I think that the reason for that is because he loved me so much, and he made me feel like I was a worthwhile person, which I had never really felt before in my life. I'd always felt like I was worthless, and like there was so much wrong with me that I didn't deserve space on the earth. So anyway, I'll talk about that more a different time. But my point is, yes, all the pain is worth having known him for 5 years. We were married 4.5 years. We had known each other for 5.5 months before that. So I just want to talk really quickly about how we met, because yesterday was the anniversary of when we met. And you may have seen this story before, because I love to tell it. But I'm going to tell it again. I need to tell these stories. And Bill and I, that's another thing I wanted to say, and I wanted to mention as something I think helps make a good marriage, is Bill and I told each other the stories of us over and over and over. And it's like each time that we told each other about like how we met and stuff, we told each other more of what had happened in the background. He told me how he had felt when something happened. I knew the story, obviously, I was in it, but I didn't know what he was thinking in the background, and he didn't know what I was thinking. And so we shared that with each other, and those kinds of things make your love deeper. And as you come to trust each other more, you can share more of those thoughts and what how you felt and everything like that maybe you weren't able to share so much earlier. And as you share those things, it just makes your love grow. It makes your relationship deeper and more intimate, because you're able to share those really deep things. So we did that quite a bit. And Anyway, so how we met. So, from my perspective, I had been dating online for a few years, actually. I had just gotten out of a 1.5 year relationship with a really, really wonderful man. And nothing wrong with him. It's just that we weren't marriage material. And you know how it is. When you get out of a long relationship, the longer it is, the harder it is usually. And the more you loved somebody, the harder it is when you leave that relationship. And so I was having a really hard time. And after a while, I said to God, you know, I really do want a marriage partner really badly. And you know that, Lord. But if you don't want me to get married, I need to know that, because I want to do what is your will. And I know that that's going to be the best for me. But I would like to stop looking if you don't want me to have somebody. If you don't want me to have somebody, if you want me to stay single for the rest of my life, I want to know that so that I can stop wasting time, emotional energy, and so on trying to find a husband. It would be better if I could focus that emotional energy on whatever it is that you want me to do. And immediately what I heard from God was, your husband is looking for you. Put yourself where he can find you. And that was like, wow, okay. So that was another thing, was that then I was going into this with a different attitude. It wasn't an attitude of, will I find somebody? It was an attitude of, I will find someone because God said that I would. And I talked to another man for a few weeks, and he was really nice and everything, but we just weren't right together. And I never gave him, I don't even think I gave him my actual name. I didn't give him my phone number or my email address or anything like that. Well, on these dating sites, they send you matches. And one match that they sent me was this little old 73-year-old man, really cute and sweet. He didn't have very much on his profile, and that always bugged me when people didn't write very much on their profile. But he was like in Maryland, which was over 1,000 miles away, and he was 20 years older than me. So it's like, yeah, there's no way. So I was about to click no, and then I thought, oh, this poor man, he probably doesn't get much response, because how many 73-year-old women are there going to be on a dating site? Well, as it turns out, there actually were a lot, he told me later. And they all seem to be after him. Probably less men than there are women. But I didn't know that. I thought he's probably not getting any response at all, and I felt really sorry for him. So I just sent him a sympathy flirt, okay? And that was it. I didn't think anything more of it. I forgot all about him. Well, that evening, I got a chat request, and it was him. And I thought, okay, well, it might be fun to get to know him. Maybe we could be friends or something. I enjoy friendships, and I love older people. So he and I chatted for about 10 minutes, and then he asked me for my email address. And like I said, I don't normally just give out my email address to anybody. But for some reason, I gave it to him, and as soon as I sent it to him, I thought, what on earth? What did you do? Well, he emailed me, and we started talking by email. And over the next 3 days, we sent so many emails to each other. And he really was a very interesting person, and I really enjoyed chatting with him and everything. But again, I still thought of him as just a friend. And I just couldn't get over the age difference, I think, was the main thing, really. Not so much the distance as the age difference. And so, anyway, so when he asked if we could talk on the phone, I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. Well, we couldn't find anything in our schedule in forever. And so, we scheduled something out like more than a week out from then. And then one day before that, before the time came for us to talk on the phone, I actually had some time clear up on a Sunday. And so I sent him a message and I said, hey, would this work out for you? And he said no, because he was going to go with a group kayaking in Morgneck Creek. Creek! How do you kayak in a creek? That's like kayaking in a bathtub. To me, creeks were like rock beds that hopefully you had some water in, because that's what they're like in California. And even if you have a lot of water running through a creek, it's still just like a little tiny trickle. So I really, at that point, it really emphasized to me how old this guy was. And like I said, I hadn't really thought of him as a romantic possibility, but that definitely squelched any possibilities for me, because he was like so old that he had to kayak in a creek. And I later found out that the creeks on the eastern shore are bigger than some of the rivers in California. And the tall ships back in colonial times actually came up those creeks. And so, anyway, so yeah, he wasn't as wimpy as I thought he was. And yeah, so anyway, so that's how we met online. And we had our first phone call 10 days later. We wanted to talk sooner, but we had to wait for 10 days. I'll tell about that another time. Anyway, I just wanted to answer the question. Yes, it is worth it all. I am very, very happy still that I married Bill. And he contributed so much to my life. He changed my life. He really did. And for the better. And hopefully once I get past all the grieving, that will show. And it'll make a difference in how I live my life and in how I minister to people and everything else. So anyway, I love you all. Feel free to love. Please free yourself up to love and to be loved. It's rare that we love somebody and they love us back in the same way. And when you find that, do not hesitate. All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Let's pray for each other. Bye-bye.